we go again. Here we go again. Come on. Come on, children. Don't be afraid. Step in the building. It's church. It's church. Yeah. Reverend Dizzle, a.k.a. Nutter Kent. We're going to have this conversation. I know some of these conversations we have to have, they're going to be uncomfortable, to say the least. They're going to be uncomfortable sometimes. Sometimes to have them breakthroughs, we got to have these uncomfortable conversations. Let me get this in a couple groups. See if I can get some of these Black love melanated groups and all that. Yeah. We all need you up in here. Let's see. All right, let me see. We still live? I'm gonna follow from the phone because that way, if anybody does comment or anything, we could have this conversation. So as you can see right here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go through a couple articles. I'm gonna express some of the sentiments that I've been saying, and I'm also gonna address some of the hypocrisy. We're gonna address some of these topics. We're gonna really see if feminism is really beneficial to Black women. We're gonna see if the LGBT is really beneficial to Black people. We're gonna see why the different levels of outrages for different things, and we're gonna have to weigh these kind of things out and see how it really benefits or doesn't benefit our people, if that's what we're about. I'm not really here to attack anybody. This isn't about, I'm mad at Black women for this or that, or nah, it's not one of those. But let's just really weigh out what's going on here, and let's really see if we can really take some truth. And if there's uncomfortable, there's some things or some grievances that the sisters have that are legitimate against Black men, then air it out, because we have to have these discussions, even if they're uncomfortable. So as you can see right here from the picture, this is kind of the sentiment that many brothers feel about the feminist movement. Look carefully at this picture. And what you see is a pink hand with a Black woman on a leash as a dog, as a bitch, a female dog, attacking a Black man who has Black power in his afro. You dig? This is really, in a nutshell, what the feminist movement really is. I'm gonna go into why. I'm gonna back that claim with some receipts, or at least with some information that you can weigh out yourself, and you can make the determination. You know what I'm saying? Because this is pretty much what it is. This is why I said that the feminist movement ain't got nothing to do with us, man. That's a movement for whiteism, period, point blank. That's white women who are upset that they didn't get to share in the exploitation of our people equally with their man. Because it makes no sense for Black women to turn on Black men because of this feminist movement, because we don't control how much money you make. Y'all telling us, y'all stunting on us right now. Telling us that y'all got the degrees, y'all getting the bread. So we obviously ain't holding you back from that capacity. Now, if there's legitimate grievances, which you do have against us, that has nothing to do with feminism. It's something that we should be having as a conversation between us, not airing out or attacking each other for the sake of doing the bidding of the pink hand. You dig? So let me go ahead and recap something that I said a long time ago. Some of y'all already have heard this, but I know many people aren't aware of this, so I'm gonna say it again. And this is pretty much the sentiment in a nutshell of how this feminist movement has been working against our people. So I'm gonna take you back to Birth of a Nation, Nate Parker's movie. So Nate Parker, as we know, he's married to a white chick. So, of course, we're going to attack him similar to the way we attacked the brother who just pardoned $40 million of debt from Morehouse students. You know what I'm saying? We looked at the superficial, and which negates the deed that he did for the thousands of students who now can start off with their careers debt-free. We're going to look at the superficial, something that doesn't affect us and we're gonna X out something that can have a great benefit to so many black people. But in the same way, we superficially judge Nate Parker for his white wife. Okay, cool. We don't agree with that. Fine. What does that have to do with the movie? Not a damn thing. But that's not even the worst part of what happened during that time when Birth of a Nation was dropping. The worst thing that happened when Birth of a Nation was dropping was that the feminist movement dug up a 20-year-old case that he was already acquitted of when he was accused of raping a white woman. Now, if you was able to read the transcripts before they took him down from buzz.com, which I did at that time, I wish I would have screen shared or somehow recorded them, but I didn't. But if you were to read the transcript between the conversation that Nate Parker and that white girl had during that time, you would have seen clearly what the fuck it was. You would have seen clearly why he was actually acquitted. And even his co-defendant, who was convicted, was later acquitted as well. But my point is this: during that time, so they dig up a 20-year-old case against Nate Parker he was acquitted from. They don't really put that part on the front of the news. But meanwhile, you have a panel of black sisters on damn near every TV station going against Nate Parker in the name of feminism, calling for a boycott of the movie. And I'm sitting back watching this at that time, because I did make a couple of videos. I did say a couple things about it. I'm sitting back watching this like, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like what a way to take away the momentum of seeing a movie about Nat Turner, something that we've been waiting for over 100 years to see this story on the big screen. Anybody in the conscious community or any black person who's aware of who Nate Parker or Nat Turner was, we couldn't wait to see something like that play out on the big screen. Now they hampered that movement by using our own women to attack him, and feminism as a whole attacked. But of course they used our women to attack Nate Parker because he was accused of something 20 years ago against the white woman, but he was also acquitted. House sway. Thruck out of here. You hear me now? Good. Listen. And at the exact same time that was going on, there was a white police officer already found guilty of raping 9 black women. He was already found guilty. He was just going through the process of the trial where they do the sentencing. This was happening at the exact same time these black women were attacking Nate Parker for a crime that he was acquitted of 20 years ago. At the exact same time, there's a guilty police officer already found guilty, being sentenced around that time for the rape of 9 black women. Not one time did I see a feminist, white or black, even utter their mouth to speak upon that. So I know that the most obvious response to that would be, well, that's because we didn't know. We didn't know that was going on. Yeah, I know you didn't know that was going on. Why the hell didn't you know that was going on? Because you see that pink hand that has a leash around that black woman right there? Because that pink hand didn't sick you on their own man who was accused of raping your sisters. That wasn't no big deal, and they didn't give a fuck about that. They didn't. So of course you didn't know that happened, but you knew all about something that was 20 years acquitted. Right at the time when Birth of a Nation, something that was actually named to offset the original Birth of a Nation, which was a big rallying for the recruitment of KKK. So Nate Parker used that same shit and said, nah, Birth of a Nation, Nat Turner, let's go. We're going to show our people that we didn't always just sit there and take it. And, you know what I'm saying, we're going to keep the spirit of Nat Turner alive. Rather the story was going to be 100% accurate or not, it doesn't even matter. What story in Hollywood is going to be 100% accurate? But what about the little black kids with these smartphones these days who don't know shit about our history? Because y'all ain't teaching them. The schools ain't teaching them. So what happens when they see that movie and now they put Nat Turner into Google? Trust me, they're going to come up with Irritated Genie. They're going to come up with King Samir. They're going to come up with Jay Dizzle. They're going to come up with some of y'all that's telling a more accurate story of Nat Turner. Hence, we keep his spirit alive. Don't you think that's the spirit we may need? All these gangbangers running around and all this shit. You don't think that they need to know a little bit about some Nat Turner, about the Haitian Revolution? But no, they turn our women against us. had us infighting over some bullshit that had nothing to do with us, over some superficial shit that had nothing to do with the movie. But at the same time, they let the white boy who was raping black women slide because they didn't say shit about it. And y'all don't know about it because they didn't make that the front news. They didn't make that the story. Trust me, they knew. These feminists knew. These are just facts. If anybody's commented, I can't even see right now, y'all. But give it a share, give it a like. If you got something to add on, add on. But we ain't done. We're gonna keep it pushing. So now we have the situation with no, we ain't gonna go there yet. But we are gonna talk about so now let's talk about this abortion situation. Because here's the interesting thing about the abortion thing to me. If I'm gonna keep it a buck, I'm gonna say it like this, man. Actually, I'm gonna put this on the screen, but what I really want to speak about now is the abortion situation. We're gonna get to this in a minute, if you can see the screen right there. But now let's talk about this abortion situation, because now so many of these feminists, black women, so upset because they don't have the right to abort babies. And instead of having a conversation that seems would be obvious to me, and I have seen some sisters doing this, I'll give you credit. Instead of having the conversation that I would think would be more relevant right now, which would be how can we curb the unwanted pregnancies? How can black men and women be more accountable to each other and themselves? How can we create an environment where abortion wouldn't really be so much of an issue that we'd have to be mad that one state has outlawed it? Like we got people ain't even in Alabama so upset about this shit. But we're not gonna have a conversation about other ways to prevent that, because let's keep it real. Your mama didn't believe in abortion. Your grandma didn't believe in abortion. Your great grandma didn't believe in abortion. And we could take this shit all the way back 1,000 or 2 or 3 or 4, 5, 6,000 years. We did not believe in that shit. So for all of these sisters, I know I might sound like I'm upset. Let me chill out, man. I don't want it to be one of those, but I am passionate about this shit. It may be because I lost a child, to a miscarriage, and that devastated me. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. But some of these sisters that have came to me and they want to imply that I'm down with the KKK because it's the KKK that wants to control black people's bodies. And all this shit. You got it twisted. Let me explain something to you. If you want to bring the KKK in this for real, okay, let's do that. I think the KKK should be part of this conversation when we're speaking about abortions. You know why? Because the KKK endorsed Margaret Sanger, who in 1973 introduced abortions to the black community. And that's when these Planned Parenthood started popping up in our communities. You drive around Hilltop, you'll see like 3 or 4 abortion clinics on one fucking block, man. What you mean? You want to bring the KKK into this shit? Yeah, they're the ones who endorsed Margaret Sanger, endorsed the bill to make it legal, 1973. Since then, 15 million of our babies have been aborted. I'm sure there's probably more of theirs that's been aborted, but I'm talking about ours. 15 million. So we have a population, they say, of about 40, 50 million. I believe it's higher than that. But if we were to go by those numbers, what you're basically saying is over 1/3 of our population has been fucking aborted. Don't sit up here and you want to fight for the right to do that, but you don't want to fight for let's just be responsible. Let's make it so we don't have to even go there in the first place. But you're fighting over this abortion shit. We're gonna fight over this abortion shit. I don't see too much resistance from these white chicks. Y'all talking about as men that's making these decisions. Let me show you what the governor of Alabama looks like real quick, just so we can cut that bullshit out. I'm not gonna play the audio on this because I know that it might mess up the. Let me make sure I turn this audio off. Boom. But let's just look. Let's see what this governor looks like of Alabama real quick. There she is right there. That's the governor of Alabama. So let's just go ahead and look at how crazy this looks. That I don't see white women protesting the abortion. Not so much. I've seen a little bit of it, but we're protesting this. Understand something, because I'm not judging you if you've had an abortion or nothing like that. I'm not even saying that, whether I disagree or agree with the law, it doesn't even matter. This isn't to shame anybody. And I keep saying this, and I know that some of y'all still don't want to hear that because you want me to have to be shaming you so you could have a legitimate reason to say the bullshit you're saying, but I'm not shaming you. I'm not judging you because you're going to do what you feel is best. I get that. But my point is this. Number one, with so many people bragging and casually talking about abortions like it's stepping on a cockroach, that's just disgusting. That's disgusting in an environment where we're being killed by outsiders while the mainstream media tries to undermine our legitimate pleas for justice, and we're going to give them ammo, like celebrating and casually speaking about murdering our babies. Now we have to contrast that with being upset about the black woman being killed in Texas the other day and all these other hashtags. And we're sitting there trying to make a cry why our lives matter. And at the same time, we're celebrating murdering our own. We're giving them ammunition to undermine everything that we're saying in our cries for justice because you want to celebrate or fight for the right to abort your babies. That's not staying on code. That's the point. That is off code. You never give your enemies anything to use against you. Period, point blank. So y'all mad about this shit, huh? Mad about the abortion, right? Exit that shit. Well, how come ain't nobody saying nothing about this then? Huh? Everybody's mad about this too. Transgender woman's dead. Oh gosh. I said, fuck them. I don't care. Whatever. That's how I feel. But that sounds harsh. But let's get to this. North Carolina. Y'all ain't upset about this? Y'all ain't upset about them continuing the law? And I thought this was something new. When I made that video yesterday, I thought this was brand new. But no, this is like a few months old. Meaning that this law's been there, but recently they tried to take it off. It made news. And then they're like, nah, we're going to keep it like this. We're going to make it damn near legal to rape women. We can read the article in a minute, but how come y'all ain't mad about this? Y'all more mad about not being able to abort babies because you're saying that's controlling the body, but you're not as upset about these laws where it's okay to rape. They're saying that if a woman gets high on her own record and she can't consent, whatever, have at her. She gets too drunk, she gets too high, have at her. In other words, they're saying that you could stalk a chick in a party or at a bar, wait till she gets fucked up, have your way with her. She can't say that she didn't consent. You guys ain't mad about that? Y'all ain't mad about that. That's interesting. Me Too. Supposed to be helping us out, right? Supposed to be helping y'all out. Me Too died as soon as they did everything they can to undermine black men accused of rape. They did not pursue no Harvey Weinsteins or none of the dozens of others. They took care of Bill Cosby, fucked up R. Kelly, any other brother that they could, and then they went away. Me Too, headed by a black woman, of course. Listen, I'm not trying to start no gender war shit. I'm just saying let's just cut it out. Let's just at least examine and understand how they're using us against us and how they're using us to endorse and legitimize all kinds of different movements that go against us. Now, even before I read this, let me just show you something else, man. Because I'm gonna keep it real. Dizzle is official. Fuck what you heard. J Dizzle is official. Black Guy Stand Radio is official because it's on point. You can go back through all these archives, you ain't gonna find no lacking. Period, point blank. Now this right here says 3 years ago, but it was really June of 2015. So next month it will say 4 years. So it was damn near 4 years ago where I told y'all you can look forward to the blurring of the line of what is rape. You can look forward to that. with the normalization of homosexuality, LGBTQ, whatever the shit, when you legitimize and normalize that, you're asking for the blurring of the line of rape and pedophilia. Tell me I was wrong. Tell me Irritated Genie was wrong. Tell me Dawa Israel, who I interviewed a week before this, was wrong. We wasn't wrong. We've been telling you this shit because I've noticed, even in my personal life, when it comes to this homosexual shit, there's black women who, I won't say that they agree with it, but, you know, they're just kind of like, well, you know, we can't judge them. But, okay, I understand that. I'm saying, do you understand this is agenda? Do you understand the dangers of this shit? Do you understand that we're sitting here legitimizing a movement that's very detrimental? And here's why I told you. Here's why I was able to come up with the calculation that, of course, if homosexuality is legitimized and normalized and pushed and allowed and not accepted, because it's already accepted. It ain't like people were getting murdered for being homos. I'm saying when it's celebrated and pushed on people, when it gets that normalized, understand who runs the country, understand who represents the homosexual community by numbers, not by face. They'll put your face in front of it, but we're talking about mostly white men and white women, but the white men have the power. So if they want this shit to be legitimized, if homosexual white men want homosexuality to be legitimized, followed by pedophilia, well, what are their sentiments towards women on the real? What are gay white men or gay men's sentiments towards women? Do you think that they really give a damn about women being raped? They're not even interested in women. Cut it out. That was a pretty easy calculation for me to make. That, of course, it's coming. Wait for it. So what I'm saying is, the way that we support some of these movements are detrimental. Because when I say something like, I don't accept transgenders because they don't accept themselves, I mean, actually, a lot of people was agreeing with that sentiment. But of course, the flack that I got had to come from some black women and a brother for some fucking reason. Whatever though. But I'm saying, like, this is, you know, the resistance. Like, it's not me saying that I hate them. They should die. They should be hurt. I'm just saying I don't accept it. I don't want it around me. There's nothing that I want to hear from you. It's whatever, man. You do you, but I'm not fucking with that shit. I'm not legitimizing that. I ain't cool with that. I don't accept that. You didn't accept that. You didn't accept you. Why should I accept you? It doesn't make no sense. But let's look at how truly mental this normalization of the transgender is. Let's just look at it for what it is. I know somebody's going to flag this. Jay Dizzle will be suspended for another 30 days at least. Coming soon. Predict that. However, whatever. Let's just look at it. Let's look at how mentally disturbing this should be to an ordinary human being. So if I told you that I wanted to cut off my finger or my hand or my arm because I just felt like that's the way I was born and that's just who I am. If I told you some shit like that, you would look at me like I was crazy. I might be put on meds, deemed psycho, deemed someone who should be isolated from society, because you would say that that is some crazy shit. You would say that if I'm confused like that, I might not be fit to be around other people in society. This is what you would say. This is what the normal person would say. If they walked up, I want to cut my leg off. I want to cut my foot off. You went to a doctor, hey, I just want you to, nothing's wrong with it. I just want you to cut it off. I felt like I was just born, I should have been born with one foot. Y'all would look at me like I was fucking sick. However, if you say that you want to mutilate your own genitals, because I really felt like I should have been born the opposite. If I said, you say something like that, there's a whole support network waiting for you. There's a whole media brigade ready to cheer you on. People will be hitting up the timeline on some, yeah, you be you. Woo, 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 woo. That's how you cut it out. That should just be common sense. The fact that we can't even identify that unless you know there's a mental illness that's running rampant, not just within the black community, but damn it, obviously within the world. Because that's accepted. That's cool. That's legalized. But they actually do have self-mutilation laws on the book. It just doesn't pertain to cutting off your genitals, obviously. Cut it out, man. Anywho. So like I said, you know what I'm saying? You need to legitimize this shit. Matter of fact, subscribe to my new channel, Jay Dizzle. The link's up in there. I'm trying to build that shit up. You should subscribe to Black Guy Stand. Hit that little follow button when you go to the website. That's all you gotta do is hit that where it says follow. Huh? So I'm just saying, like, where is the outcry though? And notice how you're not hearing white women on the forefront going against all this shit because they're gonna stay on code. Remember, it's their system, it's their law at the end of the day. It's their people that are making these laws. Remember that you don't see white women talk about feminism from a standpoint of not needing a man. You don't see that. But you see black women talking about they don't need a man, but they're still getting food stamps. They don't need a man. Still getting child support. They don't need a man. They got a dildo. They don't need a man. Like the idea was supposed to be to get liberated or free or independent from black men, not the system. Okay? I'm just saying though, this is just common sense when you think about it. That's all it is. It's just common sense. We don't control if you get educated or how educated. We don't control how much you make. We don't control none of that. Your fight has never been against us. This is something that happened at the same time these abortion laws became legal, around that same time. The same time when they were trying to stifle the Black Power movement, because you think about 1973, what was going on back then? Huh? That's when the smoke was settling from the dismantling of the Panther Party. The smoke was settling. I think the last stronghold of the Panther Party was probably about 1970, maybe 71 in Seattle. But you know, that atmosphere was still resonating. So this is when the Crips and Bloods really started coming out. And they were coming out to take up the place of the Panthers. So they haven't been neutralized yet, but here they come. Here they come with legal abortion. Just kill yourself. Kill your motherfucking self. Because I can see right now, this is the white man, they could see at that point that we wasn't on some kill each other shit. We was ready to stand up and fight against the oppressor. So here comes the legitimacy of kill your motherfucking self. Empower the woman, kill yourself. Don't have that nigga in the house and we'll give you different things, this and that. Oh yeah, half of these niggas ain't making it back from Vietnam or they're coming back shell-shocked or on dope. Because remember, they started flooding heroin in the community. So exploitation movies start coming out. Let's not forget that. See, there was two different eras of black exploitation movies. There was the era that we was making our own FUBU, and in those kind of movies, you always seen, no matter what, even if they were talking about pimping, drugs, you always seen, there was always an element of fight the power in some kind of way, even in those. In some kind of way, they still didn't legitimize some of these professions. They always had, even the pimps in some of these movies and the drug dealers in some of these movies, they would tell the children, nah, go to school. I'm going to pay you, stay in school, stay away from that shit. That's the same shit that was going on in the streets around that time. We used to have that in the streets. Or even gangster niggas or whatever, they might see a cat and be like, nah, man, you ain't like us, bro. Just, man, you got something you can work with that sports, man. You got a cold hoop game, man. You're cold with those books, man. You go handle that shit. We're going to keep you safe, but don't fuck with us like that. Do you, man. You got a way to get out of this shit. So even in some of these blaxploitation movies, you've seen that same sentiment. So you even have movies, I know y'all ain't seen this movie, but there's a movie called HIT, H-I-T exclamation mark. It's called HIT. It's hard to find, but you can find it. If you pay for it, I think you can find it on YouTube. This is Richard Pryor, Richard Pryor, Billy D. Williams. The premise of this movie, and it was shot out here, it was shot in Seattle. The premise of the movie is Billy D. Williams was a FBI agent or something like that, maybe a CIA or something. DEA maybe. His daughter dies from an overdose of heroin. He gets pissed off. He recruits the whole team. They start murking motherfuckers. He trains them. They start murking people, and they go all the way to France to kill the head kingpin in France, which they didn't call it the French Connection. But if you know what was going on around that time, basically he murked out the French Connection to stop the flooding of heroin to black communities. Richard Pryor was a beast in that shit. But of course, now these are the kind of moves that was coming out at the same time. The spook that sat behind the door, things like this. Now what happened is, now Hollywood started getting involved in the exploitation movies, and all of a sudden now you're glorifying the pimps and the players and all this other shit. So now we've made heroes out of those who are detriment to our communities, after the real people that were actually the messiahs of our communities were being murdered and locked in jail. So now we add that on to the fact that now we're going to give women welfare as long as they don't have a man in. Oh, now we're going to also legitimize abortion, something that's never happened in this country. And the first time it did happen in 1973, they put it right in our communities to kill us. This is what the fuck you're fighting for, to keep that legacy going. But you're telling me I have to be down with the KKK to not want abortion, but y'all actually are following a bitch that was actually endorsed by the fucking KKK to murder our babies. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here with that bullshit. I'm just saying, let's start looking at this for what it is, man. You can get mad about it, whatever. I know it's a conversation. I know it ain't easy to stomach. The same way I'm sure it's the same way I know some of y'all sisters got some shit that y'all need to say to us that ain't gonna be easy to stomach. And some of us is gonna feel some kind of way, but we gotta have these conversations, man. It's just what it is. We had a very dope show. Black Us Stand Radio. Check the archive. Queen E. We went into toxic masculinity. Other topics revolving around that. And I'm telling you, like, these are conversations that we have to have. I'm probably gonna have to bring back a part 2 to that show. It was pretty lit. A lot of people from all over the country called in. We had Jobs for My Skin and My Sin called in. We had Shabaka Sankoray called in. We had brother from Minnesota, we had people from all over the country calling in. I don't know who all of them were, but these are the kind of conversations that we're going to have. We're going to have to start legitimizing our own voices. We're going to have to start really looking at things from a different. We have to start just calling out the bullshit. That's what we have to do. So it's amazing that people ain't so upset that they're going to, and trust me, this is North Carolina right now. So what happened is, just to give you a little backdrop on this, there's been a law on the books for a minute in North Carolina that pretty much it blurs rape. It blurs the line of rape. It's really detrimental to the well-being of women, to tell you the truth. It really is. So they were trying to take it off the books. They couldn't even get it to a vote. In other words, it's staying on the books. See, now that sets a precedence for other laws. You see what the South is doing right now. They're like, fuck this shit. We're going to just start, bossing up on a bitch. That's basically what they're doing. They're just bossing up right now. I'm letting you know. We're going to tell you if you're going to have abortions or not. But that was a woman who did that, but they're all on code. They don't care. See, you have to understand, they passed that law. Like I said, look, when they first introduced the legalization of abortion, it was only to eradicate our population because the Planned Parenthoods were put into our communities at a way higher rate than others. And not only Planned Parenthood, a lot of different abortion clinics start popping up. Ride through the hood and see how many different places you can kill a baby legitimately. Just ride through and look. This was because of what happened in 1973. But I'm sure that they also aborted many of their babies, probably even more so than ours. But their population is higher, so you would expect that. So now they're looking at it like, okay, well, we tried to exterminate the black race. Them motherfuckers is fucking so much, they ain't going nowhere. But our race has started negative birth rate, projected to actually go extinct. And you can look at the birth rate in any European country, in America, in Canada, it don't matter. They're out of here. They know that. So they're going to take a drastic measure to preserve their life. That's why they did that law. It had nothing to do with you, black woman. You know what I'm saying? Step back, man. Sit down somewhere. That ain't got to do with you. They did that to save their damn selves. That's how extreme they went. To where a woman was like, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Plus, remember, she's from a different generation where you didn't do that anyway. It's only this 1973 and up where this shit became acceptable, to where we can casually speak about it, even brag about it, or be mad at somebody who doesn't like it. Feel how you want, you know what I'm saying? Pro-choice, pro-life, I don't give a damn. Do what you do. I'm just saying, I'm just letting you know this is why they made this a law. Because they have to save themselves. They will go through that drastic extreme to save themselves. That's why they did that law. Meanwhile, you want to fight for your right to kill your motherfucking self. And then we can have the conversation if it's really your body or not at that point. Maybe that's the conversation we have to have. Because you can't really say, oh, yeah, well, it's my right. It's all about me. But at the same time, understand that it took more than one person to create that. And then once it's created, it is a life unto itself. So we can argue, oh, well, it's only a bunch of cells with electroactivity at one point. Okay, cool. Is that where all of them are coming from, though? I'm just saying. Before we even have that conversation, the conversation we should be having, let them have that conversation. Let them. They're the ones that have to preserve themselves. Let them have that conversation. We have the conversation. Well, what can we do even before then? Can we get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps ahead of the game? Can we start playing chess where we don't even have to worry about that move at this? You know what I'm saying? Can we do that? That's what we should be doing. That's what we have to be doing. That's the conversation that we should be having. Okay, brothers. And this is a conversation a sister I know started having. Well, how come brothers don't want to get vasectomies? We don't want to cut our balls, sis. Ooh, okay, well, at least we're having that conversation instead of why we should be able to kill babies. At least we're having a conversation like, how can we prevent this shit? I don't think too many brothers are going to be down with the vasectomies, but damn, we can get somewhere with that conversation. More so than, you know, fighting for the right to abort, but you ain't even fighting for the right not to get raped right now. So cut it out. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because the conversations that we're having are based upon propaganda. It's based upon what's being manipulated by, a lot of times, that white hand in the background. So we're having conversations that it doesn't matter how it goes, it don't fucking benefit us. We're getting behind things that don't benefit us. Me too, LGBT. So let me end it like this with the LGBT. Okay, so another danger of backing the LGBT, and this is why when I speak about it, I don't use the F word. I don't do none of that disrespectful shit because really I don't want y'all to lose what I'm really saying when I address it, number one. Number two, it's not necessary because I'm not speaking about it from necessarily emotional, hateful. That's just not where I'm coming from. But I'm looking at it from just common sense and logic. So now the NAACP has endorsed the LGBT community. And now they have, as I told you a month ago, usurped, and I told you this was going to happen before, but they have actually officially now usurped the Equality Act of 1964, meaning that now they are part of what is called a minority or whatever, civil rights, whatever. So in other words, now they're going to have leverage when it comes to issues that have to do with our human rights struggle. An example, reparations. Now, look at the numbers of the LGBT community. Is it mostly us? No. It's mostly them. And it's mostly privileged them. That's why they had to use your face. Because they can't say that they're worthy of civil rights protection and all that shit when you looked at them and they're mostly upper income, middle-aged white folks telling you that they need protection. What the fuck? They need political protection and civil and all that kind of shit. No, that's why they had to put niggas in a dress on the Oscars. Picture that all across the world. That's why they got to keep on using our homosexuals or transgenders. So that's the face of it. So now it's legitimized as civil rights. So you can't say the F word, but nigga all day. You can't express that you don't agree with certain things without catching flack, but they will let you watch somebody get their head blown off on TV, especially if they look like us. They will let you watch that black woman get gunned down like a dog, no problem. You ever notice how they don't allow you to see the death of white people to the same degree to allow you to see us being murdered? Two reasons. Number one, they don't want their own people to get riled up. That's why they don't show you the police that's killing white people. They don't want them to get riled up and understand, like, yo, it's a problem. Because God forbid, poor black and white people start to see that they're killing us both, and we check the police together. Now there have to be a change drastically. But really, in addition to that, is because they don't mind getting you used to the thought and seeing and numb to black death, but they don't want people to get numb to seeing them dead. Psychological. But you can't attack LGBT, you can't attack transgenders, you can barely attack pedophiles. All this dysfunctional shit, and we're right in line backing this directly or indirectly. But the results of doing so leads to things, as I said before, as I wrap this up, the result of backing these kind of things lead to rape being blurred. Hold up. Rape being blurred. What's rape? Rape's becoming okay. Trust me, you're going to see over time, you're going to see this hit in different states. They're running off these little tests. They're seeing how the people are going to react so they can best put the strategy in to get it done, just like they did with the homosexual shit. So this ain't no attack on LGBT, but it's just, I'm just telling you the truth, man. When you normalize that shit, pedophilia comes next, the blurring of rape comes after that, and other things that violate women, because understand that the bosses of this whole gay shit are white men, gay white men who don't give a fuck about you, boo. Cut it out. They want us to feel some kind of way when a transgender gets killed. But they ain't saying shit about the transgender that's bashing women in boxing and MMA. They're not saying that's cool. It's cool. But don't let somebody fuck up a transgender because he lied saying that he was a woman and blah, blah, blah. Man, we done. I'm out. Let me see what people are saying real quick before I close it down. Tracy, what's up? Luke, what's up? Peace. Whitney. What's up, Whitney? What's up, Justice Raw? Yeah, y'all, give us a share, give us a like. Check out the check out my YouTube channel up here, man. Just subscribe so I can get the numbers up. My other channel has like 4,500, but you know how they block the real talk, so I'm starting a new channel. So yeah, subscribe to that. I'm out. Peace.